finale of Love Island USA, I want to just touch a little bit on our final couples. We had Iris and Pepe in fourth place. Now with them, when Pepe was bringing up Hannah again and like asking like why did they dump her and the whole kind of thing, I was like, oh, he's still like is thinking about her. Like, oh, go Hannah. Like, wow. I want them to get back together when they get outside, or like at least like see like how things go. And then Iris and TJ seem to have a good connection, and then TJ got dumped the night that Taylor got saved, and he said on Atchison, like, yeah, Iris and I spoke that we're gonna like continue to speak on that side and the whole kind of thing, like link up, whatever. And it's like, oh, that seems nice, whatever. And then Iris and Pepe got together, and I guess maybe we didn't see as much of their friendship in there. They had been in the villa for a long time, and they came in as bombshells together. It's like an unspoken rule that bombshells don't get to know other bombshells, but they really kind of like got together quite quickly, it seemed like. And it was like, oh wait, what happened to TJ? Because he was like more recent, but also even the Hannah thing. Like, is it just like good friends, and now suddenly we're just in bed and we're just like, the sheets were moving. It was like and 2 nights maybe after TJ left. Which, I mean, they're both single, so I mean, nothing's wrong with that. And they've progressed and whatever. And I also forgot until the finale today that they both live in LA, so that'll be good for them in terms of like obviously like not having to deal with distance off the rip. But I don't think I didn't like when the Shelly and Ace were dumped. I thought it would have been Iris and Pepe, or even Huda and Chris. Well, I didn't think. I thought Huda and Chris could have been dumped because Chris has been basically asking to go home. We'll talk about them in a minute. But I thought Iris and Pepe. I was very surprised that they made it to the final. But they did, and they were fourth place, which I think is a good placement for them if they're going to be in the final at all. And we'll just have to see what happens with them. I am curious though, like still like, do Pepe and Hannah speak, or like is there maybe it's been too far gone, like it's been too many weeks? And the TJ and Irish pieces, like that was more recent. It was like he left it a little bit a week and a half ago. So like what happens there? I don't know. Huda and Chris now. I told you lot. They were third place, and I told you lot. Everyone's excited to be in the final. They're having a pillow fight, like whatever. The pillow accidentally hits Huda in the face. Chris says sorry. She's like feeling upset or whatever, like a little bit. But she gets in bed. He's sleeping already. Essentially, he's turned the other way, and she's poking him like, Chris, and she says, I'm gonna give you 3 seconds to change. 3, 2, 1. She's counting down on him, and he's like, I just want to sleep. Like he like wakes up because she's like tapping him and like whatever, and he's like, I just want to sleep. I'm so tired. I don't want to be tired tomorrow. And she says, if me not cuddling me is worth me being upset tomorrow, then, and he doesn't like cuddle her. He just like is like sleeping, whatever. She's been poking him, prodding him. We're having an argument on the finale episode. This is who I'd already mentioned before. There was a lot of other things with them that we had seen to be like, why are people still in this Delulu land that they are endgame, that they are like this wonderful perfect couple or whatever it is. I know Huda has a lot of fans, but even some of those fans, I don't know if today was able to shake you to feel like what it is, because they went on this final date and Chris says like, I want to still continue to get to know you on the outside and whole kind of thing, whatever. And he's talking about their communication differences and how they could like work better. That Huda's like trying not to interrupt. She's like does a little bit, but like he kind of like she stops and he keeps going, whatever. And she talks about their physical connection, how like she doesn't like that. She's always the one who's having to like grab his arm over. She always wants a guy to be on her, whatever, like that. Which I'm thinking like you always want a guy to be on you, but like you don't want to kiss him outside. You don't want to, whatever. That like maybe that difference there that they're having, and it could also be a camera thing. I don't really know. And he says to her like, hey, what do you want to do then? And she says, I think we should just be friends. And essentially like they're on this date and it's like they're on the water. He carried her up to the table because you have to like walk through water and to get there. And he gets up and leaves the table. He's like he said, I can't do this, whatever, like that. She's crying at the table. He comes back to like help her down the steps, and she's like, are you gonna carry me back, or are you gonna make me walk through the water? He's like, I'm not gonna carry you. And she like goes and gets another bottle of champagne. He leaves. She doesn't even help her down the step anymore because she's like maybe like, I don't even know. And then she walks through the water herself and whatever. We've never had a couple on any iteration of Love Island, and there have been several iterations, several seasons of Love Island all across the globe. We have never had a couple on the finale who are not an actual couple, who are not like, who are just friends, like who have broken up and are now like just stuck there. It's interesting too because since Love Island USA is pre-recorded, like we it's not like they could have left necessarily in a sense. Like we had voted, they probably filmed this on Friday, and we saw it on Sunday. They probably filmed it a couple of days ago. Whereas like in the original version in the UK, it airs like live. The finale is airing live. You vote for it on Sunday night, but also on Monday when they're playing the finale, which is like a 90-minute finale. You get to vote like 30 minutes in, like one last chance to see like who you want to win Love Island, and like you can do it up to the last minute. And even we've had times where I think like season 7 of Love Island, Liberty and Jake broke up just before the finale. They went on a final date and like broke up on the final date. They had some problems like the day before, and they chose to leave when they came back home to the villa, and they chose to leave because they said we don't want to take away like a place in the finale. So I know Hood and Chris couldn't have necessarily done that, but it still was like even though they kind of crashed and burned tonight, it was like there were so many different points up to here. I don't even get how they were still getting all these votes to like make it past certain couples even to make it to the finale because and it just imploded. It just imploded today, essentially, but it was waiting to implode days ago. I saw someone say, and it's not all Hood's fault, this situation, but I saw someone say, Hood cured my anxious attachment style because I never want to look that insane ever. Maybe she's thinking about, like, the poking of Chris in the bed or, like, this. I don't even know, like, but there's been several things we've seen with Hood on this journey, and yeah, there's been bits of growth and stuff like that, but it is still, like, whew, what a mess. And I can't believe that like Shelly and Ace, who I warmed up to a little bit later on, that they were dumped. Where we have like Huda and Chris were in there in the third place. I'm happy they're third. Like I said, Huda has a lot of fans, so I wasn't sure like, gosh, where are they gonna put Huda Chow? But they end up third. Alandria and Nick, my personal favorite couple of people I voted for to win, they end up second place. And I was happy. I wanted to be them or I wanted to be Amaya and Brian or just Amaya really. So it's, they didn't win the show, but that's fine. They had a nice date today. They both said they agreed, like they want to get to know each other outside still, the whole kind of thing. I do wonder though, and like I'll say as well, Nick admitted like I was the one who kissed you on that blindfold kiss game on like episode 2 or episode 1. It was, I remember like the first second day, the whole kind of thing. And they're sweet, they're cute, like they're realizing like we kind of put things off early on. I do wonder though, the Sierra situation, like that is, Nick and Sierra are gonna have to speak at some point. It's not like she was kicked off the show for doing something, like for wronging Nick. And yeah, Nick could have come on the outside if she were to stay in there, whatever it was, and seen like what she had said and what she had done and been like, oh, I don't want to have any parts of this. That could have happened, but regardless, they still would have had to speak, either in terms of like clearing their like it's done, but it isn't like they guess they kind of broke up in a sense, but it isn't like something went wrong in terms of like someone wronged the other one. It was just she was removed from the situation and he had to obviously kind of move on with it. And I did wonder then, like, okay, to some level, like, okay, why didn't he leave with her? He probably doesn't know fully what happened, but like did he not ever ask, like, maybe can I leave? I close it off with her, whatever it is. But they had closed it off. They had been intimate, and then she left, and now it's like I'm moving on to someone else that it had something for a while, but it is still, it's just interesting. Like, I wonder how that's gonna go in terms of the whole situation, and also even are Landria, Sierra even friends anymore still? Like, what's the vibe? She like wished them well in some kind of way, and like on her Instagram post recently, I think. I don't know. But Alandria and Nick, I'm happy for them. Since Amaya and Brian's win is basically like Amaya was like a solo winner in a sense, so it's kind of like some Nick Alandria fans are like, well, it's kind of like Alandria and Nick were voted like favorite couple. It's like, okay. The Nick Alandria fans have been really like obviously very, very happy, and I'm happy to have joined the kind of train or whatever towards the endish, and I think it's been good. So yeah, Amaya and Brian, they went exclusive on their date, and they end up being the winners of Love Island. They both split the 50K, the 100K, 50K each. No one's ever taken the money. It'd be so interesting to see that one day, but no one's ever taken the money. They split the money, and yeah, I'm looking forward to. Amaya has been so well loved and liked from like very early on. Even when she first came in, when she picked Jeremiah for a challenge, had to kiss him, and Huda was calling her all types of names from that moment, but also like coupling up with Ace and how Ace was with her like that first couple days, and their argument, like people like really liked Amaya right away and like felt sympathy for her, wanted to like protect her, whatever it was. And of course we got to know her personality as the weeks went on, and her zooming around the villa, her like songs, all types of stuff. She became a very likable character, and very early on, people, well, not even really, after like Casa, I think people were like, just get Amaya, get someone at Casa just to bring him, you can win the show. ended up moving away from Zach. Thank goodness, because he was a weirdo. But some of the things he was doing with her, like at that game, like piling on when she was already fighting against Austin, that whole mess, and Ace and whatever. And people said like, well, if Brian couples up with Amaya now, he basically is going to get himself 50K, and that's essentially what happened because, like I said, very early on, she was someone it was very easy to root for her, and I voted for her a couple times in some of those things, and very easy to root for her and very likable person. And Brian seemed sweet. He stood up for her at that kind of mailbox thing or business challenge when Austin, Ace, and Zach were kind of going at her in some of the things, and I liked that right away. And they've just continued on to have a nice, good connection, it seems. And I hope it lasts. I hope it does well. And yeah, that's really it on the finalist. The Love Island USA reunion is going to be aired on August 25th. I like that they do it like a month some away from the show, because it gives time to have like a proper moment. Like this is, I think the other reunions they've done, they did a reunion, I forget on what series it was, but it was like right after, like literally like in the villa right after the show aired, so no one got to go home, no one saw anything. It was like just kind of like talking about their experiences, but doing it like a whole month plus away from time, as they did last season too, is good, because people were able to get like settled in, get back home, maybe some relationships or friendships, whatever, progress, maybe some friendships or relationships deteriorate, so like we can see maybe some more drama, some more things like that as people like settle in. They would have had times to like go on their social media and see like some of the stuff, or maybe whatever it is. Like there's just gonna be a lot more than if they were to do it so quick as some other like seasons and stuff like that they do. So yeah, August 25th for that. Also, Love Island Games is coming out in September, season 2, which will be exciting. I wonder how many people from this season will be on Love Island Games. We'll see what happens. But yeah, Love Island USA season 7, we've made it to the end. 6 weeks of reality TV. It's been up and down season. It felt like more like a good reality TV season rather than like a Love Island season, but it felt more Love Island-y towards the end. And I'm happy for Amaya and Brian to get the win. I'm happy for Nick and Alandria to like be going for something, and we'll see what else happens with everyone else, all the other Islanders. Be kind to them. They've left this villa, they've left this experience, this bubble they're in. Now they're coming into this whole new kind of world and this new kind of like exposure and all this. So yeah, we'll wish them well on their journeys. Even the ones who we don't really like that much, we wish them well on their journey, and we can keep it pushing. But yeah, that's Love Island USA season 7. Good stuff.